All right, everyone. Welcome to our Security Plus Day. We'll be talking strictly Security Plus today. If there are any concepts that tie into something else that someone's working on, that's fine. We can go into discussion. But for the most part, the main flavor of the day is going to be Security Plus today. So, with that said, I'm not going to go over the objectives. That's something that I do quite a bit, so you'll be able to see a breakdown of how to dissect the objectives and use them to prepare. If you go to the new student zone, there's a recording there that says why you want to use the objectives, or why you should be using the objectives to prepare. So here's your new student zone here, and then that video will be right up here. Okay, so that'll walk you through how to use the objectives, why you should be using them, the information that's in there, and all that good stuff. Okay. Today, what I want to do an activity, sort of a group activity, just to get everyone's heads spinning, rolling, get your minds going on Security Plus stuff. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to bring up this. Where is it? Here we go. Oh, before I get started, before we go into the activity, are there any concepts that anyone here wants to go over or address when it comes to Security Plus? We'll have plenty of time to do the activity, so I want to make sure I get whatever questions you guys have or concerns. None so far that I can see. Okay. My take on Security Plus, this is the most, what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? It's not wordy, but this is the most technical exam, I guess. There's a lot of acronyms, a lot of there's a lot of acronyms. There's a lot of concepts, abbreviations. It's a lot of areas that you have to cover on this exam. And so, as opposed to Net Plus is a little bit more troubleshooting heavy on the networking concepts. A Plus, they both have their own flavor. One is more hardware heavy. The other one is more software. With security, it's really heavy on concepts, and so you have to make sure that you do your homework on a lot of the stuff that's in here, because it's really extensive. It's the most extensive of the exam when it comes to the information. When you separate the A pluses, this one just has a ton of concepts and ideas that you have to understand. So, just keep that in mind. There's not so much troubleshooting on this exam, but it is really, what's the word? I can't even think of it right now. Yeah, there you go, jargon, right? There's a ton of jargon in here. It's all over the place, and it is nonstop. So for this exam, you just want to make sure that you do your homework on the concepts and the acronyms. Make sure you understand, encryption to a deeper level than you need to know on A plus or Net. So anyway, if you guys don't have anything, we'll kind of get into it, and I'll give you an idea of what I mean. But yeah, Kelly said it too. Vocabulary, jargon, same thing. There's a ton of it. So let's get out of here real quick. Do a network vulnerabilities. Okay, this is something that you're going to want to know for Security Plus. By the way, this is the Net Plus hands-on simulator that I am using here. This is a Pearson resource, and this is available through Pearson. I'll show you where you can find it towards the end of the session if you want to see it. But for now, I want to kind of give you an idea. So we have all kinds of different network vulnerabilities here. And basically what we need to do is we need to match these up with the definition. So let's do this together. There's a few of us here. So let's just start at the top and then work our way down and see if we can knock them all out. So the first one says use of mobile devices to discover open wireless hotspots. Which one would that be? Got a huge list here, so I'll scroll down so you can see them all. But so we got one consists of rogue access point. Anyone else? It says you're basically just using a mobile device to discover open wireless hotspots. No, we're just doing the top one, Kelly. We're going straight down the list, so we'll just do it this way. So there's a couple ways to do this. One, some of them you're going to know right off the top, some of them you may not. And then what you do is you just kind of, you do this process of elimination until you find what you're looking for. So let's see. So operating system flaw, no. Equal twin, no, it wouldn't be that. Environmental, that doesn't fit. It's not a network tap. Application bug, no. FTP bounce, no. Social engineering. Sounds to me like war driving. But it's not chalking, right? It's not a back door. Most of these don't fit, right? WPA cracking, what was the question again? Use of mobile devices to discover open wireless hotspots. No, I mean, think about it. If you go to your phone, go to Bluetooth, and you walk around, and you're going to see hotspots pop up, right? You don't need a special device. That's not anything really special. So let's see what else. Not hardware, electrical buffer overflow. No. To me, the only thing that fits is war driving. Hotspot different than straight Wi-Fi. No, it's the same thing. It's just a place where you can gain access to the net, right? You go to Starbucks and you find a hotspot there, right? So I think what this is for the purpose of, let's say you're looking for vulnerable access points, right? Normally, what you're doing when you're doing that is you're looking for one that doesn't have the lock sign next to it, because that means that you can gain access to it without having a password or anything. So, I don't know. Does anyone else have any thoughts? I don't see anything else, so we'll go with war driving for now, and then if we see something else, then we'll switch it up. We'll double check, like before we check the answers, we'll double check and look for anything that we want to change. So. Okay, number 2, deceptively persuading someone to give up information under false pretense. That one should be easy. Hopefully you guys can spot that one right away. Because nothing else here really fits. Right? This has to be social engineering. Okay. So next, any software designed to intercept an encrypted signal for the purpose of revealing its messages. Okay, so this one is a little bit, probably a few here that it could be. So something that I mentioned a lot, right? Keywords. So what keywords do we see in this one? It's only one sentence, so. But what here should give away what we're looking for? Kelly says intercept and encrypted, okay? Software designed to intercept an encrypted signal. Okay, so I would say actually like this whole everything, this whole first part right here should all kind of go together, right? So one, we're looking for software, right? So that'll eliminate some things. And it's designed to intercept an encrypted signal, right? So encrypted, yeah, definitely is going to be a key word. So which, and it says for the purpose of revealing this message. So basically, yeah, we're trying to steal some encrypted stuff. So what over here in these answers screams encryption to you? All right, we can start at the top and go all the way down. Operations, OS flaw. No, evil twin. Could be, right? I mean, not really though, because we're talking about, if we're talking about intercept, then yeah, but if we're talking about evil twin, something that's encrypted, we're not going to be able to, we're not going to be able to decrypt. So environmental, no. What do you guys have? Anyone have any thoughts? Network tap? Sounds like it could be something like that, right? Here's the thing about a tap though, right? Is a tap gonna, let's leave this one in play and look for some more, okay? Application bug, no, it's not gonna be that, right? FTP balance doesn't fit, maintenance, no. Fake router advertisements, no. So we're looking for software designed to intercept an encrypted signal. Okay, war chalking, no. Backdoor, no. Rogue access point, it's not gonna decrypt anything. WPA cracking. What about this one? Maybe, right? Well, let's go back to what it says, right? Software designed to intercept an encrypted signal, right? So what is WPA? By definition, it's a form of encryption, right? There you go. And what we're trying to do is, looks like we're trying to crack, right? Designed to intercept encrypted signal for the purpose of revealing its messages. To me, that one fits. What else? What else do we have? We have port mirroring. It's not going to be that. Privilege escalation doesn't fit, right? Buffer overflow, no. To me, that fits. So, because this is exactly what it's saying, right? Well, this is encryption, and this is the same WPA cracking, right? And this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to crack the encrypted signal. So to me, that's what it has to be, right? Process of elimination. All right. Anyone disagree? So we move on. Let's move on. Okay. It says signage posted to make mobile users aware of previously discovered hotspots and their security status. That one should scream to you too. What do you guys say? Jack says environmental. Okay. Let me make sure I scroll all the way down so you can see them all. Okay, so we have OS flaw, evil twin. Let's read it again. All right, it says signage posted to make mobile users aware of previously discovered hotspots and the security status, right? So it's basically saying that someone's marking something saying, look, there's a hotspot over here and it's open, right? What were we doing up here? Up here, we're going around and we're looking for hotspots, right? And this is war driving. Down here, someone's already done that for us, right? Someone's already found some hotspots and kind of given us a heads up, like, hey, there's one over here. So yeah, in this instance, someone's marking hotspots. That's going to be war chalking. Good job, Kelly. That's the only one that fits. Because this isn't it's not an advertisement. I can see why you would say that, but we're talking. This says a fake router advertisement, right? These are actual hotspots. and someone has found them and they just kind of marked them. So whenever you see something like that, it's going to be war talking. By the way, this is another form of social engineering, these two. So, you know, just make sure you keep that in mind. No idea what that is. Okay, so the gist of it is, let's say that you come to my neighborhood, right, and I know where the hotspots are, where you can go, or, you know, we'll use Starbucks as an example, right? Let's say you go to Starbucks and, you know, there's a hotspot there, right? And someone marks it for you and says, hey, there's a hotspot at Starbucks. If you go over there, you can get free Wi-Fi. And if they're, and let's say that maybe it is encrypted. Here's the password, right? So they'll tell you, basically, it's letting people that are going around looking for hotspots know where they are. That's basically what war chalking is. So war driving is going around and looking for hotspots. War chalking is once you find the hotspots, you mark it up so someone else that's looking for hotspots, so they're aware of, you know, what to do and where to go, what's available, and how to gain access. So that's the gist of it. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. By the way, this isn't just relevant in Security Plus. This is also relevant. A lot of this stuff is relevant in A Plus as well. The second exam is going to give you your introduction to social engineering concepts like this stuff. So you'll get even if you're not on Security Plus, you'll get foreshadowing of this in A Plus. Right. As a matter of fact, I got some questions on this stuff on my exam last week. So on my 1002 exam. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Another name for a rogue access point because of its ability to mimic the legitimate access point. Okay, so on this one, first of all, you got to know what a rogue access point is, right? Who can tell me what a rogue access point is? Kelly says evil twin, a type of rogue access point. I'm assuming that's your key word, right, Kelly? Or your key phrase? The network you didn't know about. Right. So it's basically so Zach is saying it's an access points in the network that you didn't know about, which is, yeah, that's part of it, but more specifically, it's an access point that's impersonating another one. Okay, it is one that you don't know about, but it's impersonating another one. And so, with the intentions of intercepting packets, right? So Kelly's saying rogue access point is one that is not authorized. Yeah, there you go. All of the above. And the evil twin actually uses the SSID of another. Right, there you go. So, yeah. Another, you know, the key word, like Kelly said. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, on the rogue access point, is that just something like a hacker uses, or is that just someone just putting something out there? Is it useful?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a hacker. It could be someone that just wants to intercept packets, right? Okay. I mean, it's just, you know, it's another way of gaining information or whatever, you know. And the way to protect against that is to make sure everything is encrypted. You know, I mean, that even if someone is intercepting packets that are meant for your workstation or your network or whatever it is, even if someone is intercepting those, if they're encrypted, then you should be good. Unless they have some way to decrypt, you know, unless they have like the key or whatever. But yeah, I mean that's how you protect against that. But yeah, you guys are absolutely right, and Kelly's absolutely right as well. The key phrase here is it's an access point. It's a rogue access point, right? Kind of the same thing. And what you're gonna find is where was it? There we go. Evil twin. Right, it's the closest thing to it's basically it's the same thing. An evil twin is an access point that is kind of is mimicking the other one and it's using SSID, right? So good job. So I think we're batting 1,000 so far. Well, we'll see. Exploitation of port 20 or point 21 to gain access to a network. So by Security Plus, this one should be easy. By the time you get here, you just need to know which port or which protocol is operating on port 20 and 21, right? And if you want to go with process of elimination, how many port or how many protocols are mentioned here? All right, there's more hardware, electrical, buffer overflow. Like none of these are protocols, right? Not a protocol, not a protocol. The only one is going to be okay. Sorry about that. I was going back to the questions real quick. Yeah, FTP. It's going to be FTP bounce. This is a dead giveaway. Again, you know, if you're working on A+, or you're just getting started, you may not know that FTP is associated with port 20, but by the time you get to Security Plus, you better know that. This would be like a dunk. This would be like a LeBron James fast break dunk. Like you can't miss this unless you just, I don't know, unless you trip or something. But anyway, yeah. So with this one, you just match up the protocol with the port, and you should be good. Okay. Next one, wireless access machine placed by a hacker for the purpose of allowing unsecured access to an existing wireless network by extending the use of the SSID. So this one is a little bit more wordy, but there are some giveaways here. So the first thing that you want to do is look for the keywords, okay? So we're looking for a wireless access machine, all right? We're looking for a machine, something that's placed by a hacker for the purpose of allowing unsecured access into an existing wireless network by extending the use of the SSID, right? So this one, Kelly is saying that this one is the evil twin. Zach is saying rogue, okay? So it looks like does anyone have any other ones? Any other thoughts? Think of an evil twin as a clone, right? Think of an evil twin as someone that's impersonating, right? You know, same thing. Here's what gives this one away, right? There's only two of them, right? It's either going to be evil twin or it's going to be your rogue access point, right? None of these other ones really fit. Well, hold on, let's look at some of these other ones before we say that, okay? Let's go through this again. So wireless access machine placed by a hacker for the purpose of allowing unsecured access into an existing wireless network by extending the use of the SSID. So basically, yeah, this is you know, you're either a rogue access point, right, or you're evil twin, one or the other. What else could it be? Could it be port mirroring? No, that has a different definition, and none of these fit. Backdoor figure, right? None of these other ones fit. So it has to be either evil twin or a rogue access point, right? And I can tell you now why it has to be rogue access point. Come up here to where we put evil twin at. It says it's another name for rogue access point. So we can't put rogue access point here, right? So this would have to be, by process of elimination, this would have to be rogue access point. Because this is the very definition of what a rogue access point is, right? It's either this one or it's this one. But this one is another name for a rogue access point. So just keep that in mind. Kelly, I think you're using the fact that the SSID is being used to differentiate between the two, but don't do that because they both do. They both use the SSID, right? A evil twin, they're both kind of doing the same thing, actually. It's just one, I think one is mimicking the MAC address, the evil twin. Don't quote me on that. I have to go in and double check, but I know they're both using the SSID. Okay, so with this one, you know, when it comes down to these two, the definitions being so similar, right? Because what they're doing is actually very similar. The thing that sets them apart is this right here, right? Just saying that this is another name for it. So, okay, what's next? Overwriting of adjacent memory because of excessive input, thus creating a security hole in which new programs can be introduced. Okay, so overwriting of adjacent memory because of excessive input, thus creating a security hole in which new programs can be introduced. What's the key word or phrase here that you think is going to give it away? Kelly has an idea. Does anyone else? Access memory, excessive input. Yeah. Any other ones? Anything that stands out to you all? Okay. Yeah, for me, I think with the words that stand out would be excessive input. That's what gives it away for me. Okay. Overwriting of adjacent memory, not so much. But the overwriting of adjacent memory because of excessive input, this kind of gives it away right here, right? And this is just the result of that, but this gives it away right here. It's basically saying that, you know, there's too much input and you have a vulnerability there because of it, right? When you look at all these, there's a couple it could be, right? Maybe it could be a operating system flaw, but when you see that excessive input, that should tell you right there that's going to be a buffer overflow. Okay, it's not going to be any of this other stuff. So, yeah, I think that's going to be good there. Let's look at this one. Used by intrusion detection systems to copy data from one switch interface to another one for monitoring and detection of unauthorized traffic patterns. So, used by intrusion, so used by IDS, right, to copy data from one interface to another. Basically, just to monitor, for monitoring and detection. So you're basically, it looks like you're of unauthorized traffic patterns. Monitor port. Is that going to be your key word, Zach? Monitor port, monitoring the ports. Yeah, I think that would be a good one. It would be a good keyword there. What else? Probably switch it. Maybe. But yeah, I think he nailed it on the head. You're kind of watching the interface, right? Monitoring and looking for unauthorized traffic. So in that instance, it would probably be port mirroring. IDS copy. Yeah. So there. I'm answering for you guys. I'm sorry. I need to let you guys answer. I know this stuff already. So, okay. So next one. This can be used either ethically or unethically to monitor. Once again, there's that monitor again, right? to monitor or copy data flows between 2 points. All right. So this doesn't seem too different from the one up here, right? It looks like, you know, you're trying to monitor something, right? But it's saying that it can be used either ethically or unethically. So that's definitely some keywords there. What do you guys think here on this one? Let me make sure I come back up so everything is in the view. Got electrical and hardware. So we got electrical and hardware down below. Let's see. Zach has an idea. Anyone else? What we have. Okay. Looks like just about everyone's in agreement here. Everyone's looking at network tab. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be an operating system flaw, right? It's not environmental. It's not an application bug, right? Or maybe it could be, right? Application bug can be used either ethically or unethically to monitor and copy data flows between 2 points. Doesn't say anything about applications, though, saying between 2 points, so maybe not. But it's not maintenance. It's not saying anything about advertisements or anything, right? It's not. Could it be a backdoor? Let me ask you this: can a backdoor be used ethically or unethically?
Yes.
Yeah, it can, right? So, what it's saying to monitor and copy. So, all right, and then let's look down here. Privilege escalation. No, it's not that. It's not electrical hardware. So, I don't know. Most of you guys said network tap, so I'll go with you on that one. We'll double check as far as it ends. Okay. In a network in which networks are learned dynamically, a vulnerability is created by poisoning the route table for the purpose of redirecting traffic to a hacker's chosen site. Okay, so this one, they use backdoors for more than monitoring. Yeah, true. Very true. Okay. Let me read this one again. In a network in which networks are learned dynamically, right? So that means that it's not static, it's dynamically. A vulnerability is created by poisoning the route table for the purpose of redirecting traffic to a hacker's chosen site. Which one would this be? What do we have? We still have OS flaw, we have environmental, application bug, maintenance, fake route advertisements, backdoor, privilege escalation, electrical hardware. Shelly has an idea. Who else? Donald agrees. You guys have any keywords? I mean, what gives it away to you? It's actually one word. In this word, it's 2 words. Kelly, you're almost there. Zach is almost there too. Actually, yeah, Zach, you pretty much got it. So basically, they're saying that in this network, right, we're using some type of routing protocol. And when you're using routing protocols, right, the way that the routes are being learned are by something called advertisements, right? It's what happens when you configure RIP, or you configure OSPF or EIGRP, whichever one you advertise. They do it in different ways, but once the access points form their neighbors, what happens is they send out something called advertisements, and that's how they know the routes. So basically what they're saying is you have a network where you set up a routing protocol, and the vulnerability created is poisoning the route table. So someone basically went and made some changes to the routing table, right, to redirect the traffic to your hacker site. But anyway, Yeah, those are your keywords there, right? It kind of gives it away right there. Figure out our advertisements. Okay, let's move on. Intentional vulnerability created by developers in software applications to allow for administrative access. What's the keyword? Zach, did you have a question about the last one, or were you just saying is route table the keyword? Yeah, okay. Cool. Yeah, so I'm kind of getting a consensus here. Backdoor, got a couple that are thinking that it's a backdoor. Keyword intentional, right? Intentional vulnerability, right? And we were just talking about this a couple questions ago, and I was asking, right, can a backdoor be used for ethical or unethical? So yeah, I mean, this one here, keyword is going to be the intentional vulnerability created, right? So basically, we did this on purpose, and this is something that you'll do from time to time. This is the only one that really fits. Backdoor. Okay. You guys are trucking along, man. Andrew says it was on the test today. Which one? We'll come back to that. So gaining higher administrative rights on a device or file than is authorized. Which one would this be? Kelly's saying, okay, we got a couple. Okay. Yeah, this one's pretty easy, right? This is privileged escalation, because it's not going to be any of these others. So just either you know this or you can eliminate the rest. Okay. All right. Unintended vulnerabilities in the system programming. What are we thinking about for this one? Unintended vulnerability. So before we had an intentional vulnerability, now we have an unintended vulnerability. Okay. Please have some idea. What else? Any other ones? Does anyone agree, disagree? Zach agrees. Yeah, no worries. We're just finishing up. So. Okay. I didn't get any other ones, so we'll go with Kelly. Kelly says it's a operating system flaw, and I agree. Okay. This one, program code that does not run as planned or creates vulnerabilities for threat exploitation. Which one would that be? There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So which one fits best out of the ones that are left? Yeah, I mean, the only one of these that either even comes close to having to do with some type of program code would be the application bug, right? It sounds like that's so. Okay. No one's talking, so I'm gonna go mute. Okay. So last three, or actually last four, fluctuations or lack of power to critical circuits. What type of problem is that going to be? To me, yeah, key word here is going to be power, right? Power and circuits. So I'm going to go with electrical on this one. potential for physical damage because of inadequate physical security. So which of these will fall into that category? When you think about physical, what do you think of? Keywords here is probably going to be, what, physical? What else do you guys see? Donald says environmental. Okay. What else? Does anyone agree or disagree? Robert says hardware. Okay. Well, why? I got an environmental, I got a hardware, but I didn't get a why yet. Why hardware? Why environmental? Robert says physical. Next would be environmental. Yeah, I think I agree with Robert. To me, the key word in this would be physical. Physical and physical. If I think about what can be damaged, I'm thinking about hardware. So hardware, let's see, extremes of temperature, humidity, EMI, or RFI. Yeah, this to me definitely is going to be environmental, right? And then, so maintenance comes at the end to see if it fits. Lack of spare parts for mission critical devices and poor documentation leading to poor repair. Yeah, that's going to be maintenance. So, okay. Took us about the entire session, but how are we feeling about this? Do we have any that we want to change? Does everything look pretty good? I think I'm going to roll with Kelly on this one. She answered most of them. We just followed her. So where to find which, are you talking about this resource here? Yes, I sure will. First, let's see how we did. Check answers. Nice. 100 over 100. Good job. So the main thing from this activity that I hope everyone pulled is there were kind of three main concepts. One, look for the keywords, obviously, right? Keywords are gonna give away what you're looking for, and then even when you come down to a couple that it could be like we did with Rogue Access Point and Evil Twin, there's always something in there that gives it away, right? So, yeah, keywords. Next, process of elimination, right? If you can't find what it is, and find what it's not, and then go from there. That should at least narrow it down to a couple, and then you can go back to step one. Okay, so keywords, process of elimination, and then thirdly, actually that's it really. Just look for the keywords, and if you're not sure what it is, then like I said, just look for what you know that it's not, and then go from there. Third, make sure that you read the questions thoroughly, because there could be something in there that you missed. All right, but yeah, so this is a good exercise here. Okay, there's a bunch of other ones. This is not a Security Plus specific resource. Okay, so I want to make sure that's clear to everyone. This is more of a Net Plus resource. It's Net Plus heavy, but it does have concepts that tie into other stuff like we were just doing, right? This whole section here is going to tie into security, right? The stuff, all the information that you need to know when it comes to Net Plus, okay? But it doesn't go deeper into that, right? You're not going to get any PKI infrastructure stuff over here. It doesn't go too deep into encryption, I don't think. This one here, let me see what this activity is actually. Yes, see this, I think this is just I don't know if they want click on PC8. Okay, so yeah, I'm not sure. This is just encrypting the file system using EFS. So this is you know, it doesn't go too deep into the concepts, but this is good for a lot of stuff. Like even, you know, the secure versus the unsecure protocols. This is really good for that, right? This gives you, you know, this lets you go through, figure out, you know, which one is which, and then you have to decide if it's secure or not. Okay, so a lot of good activities here, and they tie into not just Net Plus, but also into A Plus as well, and as well as Security Plus. So, and there's a good troubleshooting section down here too. So anyway, this resource, you can find it. Just go to Pearson. Okay. And type in hands-on simulator. It'll pop up. And just make sure that you get the right one. Because for some reason, they still have the 006 version available. This one has probably all the same ones as you have here and more. So this one's more updated. Okay, but this is an awesome tool. It is, as you can see here, it's $39, so it's not free, but it's worth every penny. So I'll put this in the chat box for anyone who wants the link. Awesome resource. In fact, I'm going to be using this as I prepare for my Net Plus exam. So this will be one of my primary resources. I'll be using Packet Tracer. I'll be using obviously online exploitations training. I'll be peeking at some of Professor Mercer's stuff. I like to touch a lot of different resources so you can cover as many areas as you can. So that's my plan. Okay, good activity, you guys. Great job. Just make sure that you know, pay close attention to the terminology used here. That's probably the best part of this resource, is it is from Pearson. And so a lot of the terminology that is being used on the actual exam is also being used here. Okay, so this is a good tool to practice with and you know, and touch up your skills, to learn, not only to learn, but to freshen up your, you know, whatever skills you already have. Okay. Yeah, so we did, someone said they had some questions. I forgot who it was, but you can go ahead and shoot.
Okay, two big questions from the test today. One, you might need a pen and paper to kind of draw to get an understanding on it. So I'll start with the easier one first. There was a question that had no right answer at all. And I ain't confident in the answer that I gave because it still doesn't look right to me. Basically, the scenario was you're trying to set up permissions for least privilege, obviously, for an owner, a group, and other for read, write, and create. Mm-hmm. And then it gave A, B, C, and D with different variations of options. Mm-hmm. But the ones that gave the owner read, write, and create, like you would expect, gave other read and create or write and create. And the only one that only gave read access to other gave the owner write and read, no, write and create, but not read access. What's your take on that?
No, honestly, I would have to see the question. I would have to see all the specifics, because
yeah,
it's hard. It's hard enough to know what they're getting at sometimes when you do have all the information. But you know, it's even harder if I'm dealing with like 80% of the information and I'm just trying to guess. I can't give you an accurate answer. I don't even know what they're for. What?
Well, basically, what I was looking at is the owner would be read, write, create. The group would be read, write, and then the other would be just read access. But that wasn't an option.
Well, you know, the group could be read only as well. I mean, there are some situations where you wouldn't want write access for a group. You know, just depending on, you know, the sensitivity of the information.
Right.
You know, so I mean, there are a lot of different options, but I wouldn't be able to tell you which one to pick for sure unless I could see all of them. I'd have to like have it in front of me.
Yeah, I mean that one threw me off. I mean, that and the one that I was talking about you might have to draw to get an idea was one of the labs. I mean, yeah, it was a performance lab. It was basically you were setting up, like a lot of the labs were, you were setting up the best security and everything. But instead of having it to where each block was set up for individual computers, it was basically you had 4 different areas: a server room, an office, an unsecured computer room, and then there was a work office.
Okay.
And then like the main office, I'm picturing like the CEO only had 2 blocks for security blocks, not pointed to any of the computers. And then you had, see, it was 4 blocks in the server room. I think it was 4 blocks in the work office, and then like 8 blocks in the unsecured, well, not unsecured though, basically general computer room. And then you had options for cable locks, biometrics, CCTV, and all this other stuff. But they wanted all the tools used, and at the end of it, you ended up with like an extra cable lock. You only had 1 CCTV, which I figured would go in the computer room. You had a locking cabinet, only 1 of those, and 1 safe. So if you put like the safe in the office, you didn't have room for only 1 other thing. So it was just a weird lab.
It was, okay, so you're talking, it was a performance-based question towards the beginning, right?
Right.
How many of those did you get?
I ended up with like 4 labs.
Okay.
I mean, and one was pretty straightforward. It was basically a BYOB device and a server, and you were setting both of them up for the best security with encryption and setting it up with screen locks or whatever different tools. And it was like 8 of them that you could set up for each of them, but you didn't have to use all of them for that. But the one that threw me off, you had to use everything, as it stated in the question.
So it was basically like a big building with different sections. It had different pieces of equipment, and you had to secure it all using all the equipment that you had.
Right. But none of it was tied to specific computers. It was just a picture of 2 rows of computers and then blocks that weren't tied to those computers. And then the server room had like 2 servers in it. The office had like a computer and a server, and then the work office had like 3 laptops. Yeah. I mean, I've seen them in the past where it's, okay, you pick this for this PC, this for this server, and on, but none of this was tied to specific systems.
It was kind of hard to figure out how to do all that. Yeah, that makes sense. It kind of sounds like something I saw on my last Security Plus exam.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit
Okay, so I'm not the only one.
No, they wouldn't do it to just you. They do it to all of us.
Yeah, that threw me off. I'm sure I bombed that one. I mean, it just did not look right.
Yeah. Well, you know, the good thing is, you know to look for it next time.
Yeah.
So, you know, but excuse me. How about the rest of the exam? How did you feel through the rest of it?
The rest of it, there was a lot of protocol questions, which I need to go back and touch on because protocol I'm kind of weak on. But other than that, I mean, it was pretty straightforward, it seemed. I mean, you had some vulnerability questions. You had some questions over different types of malware. You had different security setup questions. Like if you go through the CompTIA Security Plus book, it had some of the questions from that in the test. The only reason I remember it is my old lady figured out that they had a lot of Simpsons references in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was one of the Homer questions.
Okay. Ellie, something about references?
What's that?
Sorry about the noise. You said something about it had a lot of references?
No, it had questions from the book, is what I was saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. I mean, not a whole lot of them, but my old lady figured out that they were making references to the Simpsons in some of those questions because they had Marge and Bart and Homer and all the characters in there in some form or fashion.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that's what we were up doing last night, was going through the practice questions from the book.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Where are we? Okay, we're a little bit over. Not bad. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to kind of do a more in-depth debriefing with you. You know, maybe we can do it one-on-one or in the next session. It's kind of up to you. And then we'll kind of go over, you know, next steps and, you know, in preparation for the retake. So,
Okay.
Yeah, just let me know when you have some time, and then we'll get together and do that.
Okay. I plan on scheduling it here and for the retake at the end of next week. So if I schedule it for Friday, I could always show up for the Thursday session and talk to you then if you want.
Yeah, that's fine. You know, whatever works for you. And by the way, while we're on that topic, for anyone that if you ever fall short on an exam, I always recommend getting in. I don't want to say get in as quick as you can. It's different for everyone. You know, if you're one of those people who were like right there and you feel like, you know, maybe it was only a question or two and you want to go back in the next day, you know, you can do that if you want. But I always say, you know, make sure you take the necessary time to go back over everything. And then also don't take too long. You know, don't wait a month to go back in because you end up forgetting a lot of this stuff. You want to go in while the stuff is still kind of fresh in your head. So yeah, that's perfect. If you say like next Friday or whenever, you know, that's good.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what's worked with the last two certs for me, because it always seems like I fail the first attempt, and then as soon as I go in for the second attempt a week later, I pass it.
Oh. Let's hope that you follow the same trend.
Yeah, well, it was 683, so I wasn't too far off.
No, not at all. Not at all. You're right there. And you know, it becomes progressively harder to get by these exams because they just up the percentage. For the first A+, it's like 675. The next one is like 700. Net Plus is like 720 or something like that. Sec Plus is like 750. So you know they make them harder to pass as you progress. I don't know why they do that, but anyway, great session today, guys. I hope you guys got something from it. Remember, two main points for your questions when you're sitting down and you're taking this exam. One, the keywords. Okay, I can't stress it enough. They're always in there somewhere. You have to find them. Okay, and two, process of elimination, right? If you don't know what it is, find out what you know it's not, and then, you know, increase your percentage if you end up having to guess at the very least. Okay, but always pay close attention to the wording. All right. I don't have anything else. So the next session will obviously be tomorrow. We'll be talking about Net Plus. It will be 1 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll talk to you all next time.